What's up, y'all? It's Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, we're going to be reacting to Kenny talking about the craziest NBA draft comparisons. Now, for me, look, especially this year, I don't know much about the NBA draft, but I know a lot about the NBA and the history of the NBA, so I'm excited to look at the past NBA draft comparisons, as that's what I think this video is going to be about, and talk about why they maybe were compared to that specific player.
We're getting close and closer.
Shout out to Kenny, though. Make sure to go smash that subscribe button on his page.
The NBA draft. I want to go and look at some of the best and worst NBA draft comparison. We're going to be on NBADraft.net. I just feel like that's the best way to get from. They got from 2009 all the way up to.
Where do you see the comparisons? That's what Hasheem Thabeet is crazy. Y'all remember when he went number 2, and then the Timberwolves took James Harden? Man, oh my gosh, we could have been. Timberwolves could have done something, man. Could have done something so special. They'd have just taken Steph Curry and, James Harden. We would have been fine, man.
2025 and draft comparisons and stuff. And I don't even have no frame of reference of what's going to be a good, what's going to be a bad. So basically what I'm going to do is go to like a bust like Johnny Flynn. They compared him to Damon Stoudemire. Okay, that's not...
Bro, if you're compared to David Stoudemire, why are we drafting you?
Not terrible. That's not terrible. Small guard. It ain't like they compared him to Isaiah Thomas or something, so I guess it's not bad. Hasheem Thabeet was compared to Dikembe Mutombo. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm...
You're comparing him to Dikembe Mutombo.
Talking about. Hasheem Thabeet, Dikembe Mutombo.
Why, because he's 7'2"?
Sometimes. I think this site, yeah, they got busted for updating their mock draft. They updated their mock draft 10 years later. Like, come on, bro. I feel like it should be a mausoleum. It should be a museum.
It should be.
Once the draft is done, you cannot go.
You should. What is the point of doing this and then being able to update it? That's pointless.
Go back and retouch.
What are we talking
mock
about?
Draft. You're right and you're wrong sometimes. James Harden.
I'm wrong a lot, by the way.
Let's see. They compared him to Manu Ginobili, but crossed out Brandon.
Oh, but if that's how they update it, then that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Roy, what is the reason behind that? I don't know. The Manu Ginobili one still is pretty cool. Left-handed. There's this thing when it comes to draft comparisons. A lot of the time, if you left-handed, they only gonna compare you to left-handed.
I kind of like that though. I do. I like that.
And if you're white, they only gonna compare you to other white players. That's just the way it goes. So like,
look at this second round of this draft. It was horrible.
Hands, bro. Projected to the Bulls.
Ew.
Mark Madsen. Like, come on, man. They only gonna compare. Like, let's see who else. Chase Budinger. Well, they got Glenn Rice here, but they also got Brent Barry. They can hold on. This is a new experiment now. It's not even just about good or bad draft comparison.
Kenny is just having fun with it at this point, man.
I don't know about foreign-born players. Let's see.
Tabos what? Jonas Jurek Bodic. Tabos says Cephalosha. I don't understand this one. Am I wrong? Wasn't like Tabos says Cephalosha a good defender? Jonas Jerebko was not that, was he?
That out. Again, that might just be the revisionist history saying like, oh, we messed up there. But let's see, Steph Curry's draft comparison was Mahmoud. This makes sense. I mean, they always say this guy's Steph Curry before Steph Curry, so the fact that he's the comparison definitely makes sense. So far, I'm not seeing anything too crazy other than Hasheem Thabeet.
Hasheem Thabeet, y'all gotta realize he's the number 2 pick. Who are they supposed to compare him to?
Who was it again? It was Dikembe Mutombo.
But what
2010.
What are they supposed to do? 2010.
John Wall was the first overall pick. Let's see what they said about John Wall. See, this is 2019 again. No, don't go back and fix your rights. But
I don't even care if they cross him out as long as they leave what was initially there. Like, that's fine to me. As long as they leave what was initially there, I don't care. Derrick Rose, I don't even hate that comparison. I don't hate the comparison. He just never lived up to that, but I don't hate the comparison, to be honest.
Fix your wrongs. Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook, those aren't bad comparisons.
That's what I'm saying. Those are pretty good to me.
John Wall coming out of college. I'm not mad at it, but
I think those are good.
Evan Turner. Who would they compare ET to? Also Brandon Roy? Okay. Matter of fact, I don't know if I want to use this site no more.
Look at the Timberwolves draft. Wesley Johnson?
With the revisionist history. I also want to see any white players. Luke Babbitt. Who do they compare Luke Babbitt to? Keith Van Horn and Chris Mullin. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. That is kind of funny how they do that. Like, that is kind of funny.
Ekpe Udoh did end up being great in the league. And they gave him bad.
Who are these guys? I don't even know who these guys are.
So this is what I don't understand. This is probably, again, the revisionist history thing. If he was going to be Chris Gatlin / Jerome Mo, I don't even know this first guy.
Why are you drafting him if that's who he's supposed to be?
Why would he be drafted in the top 6?
That's what I'm talking
comparison
about.
Was who, though? So you got a dude that's comped to Scottie Pippen, but instead of drafting Scottie Pippen, it's going to be Chris Gatlin. That don't make sense to me, bro.
It doesn't. It would be interesting. Do they update those or do they just cross them out? That's what I want to know, like with these updates.
That don't make sense to me. Gordon Hayward, experiment continues. Luke Jackson and Mike Dunleavy Jr. All right, let's go some other place. All right, so here's another spot.
Yeah, I don't like that place that we were just at. It's like they don't even know ball.
And it has not been updated since 2010. So this is absolutely perfect. So yeah, the Derrick Rose John Wall will make sense.
That makes sense.
This place also has Brandon Roy. Okay.
Wesley
Johnson gets a Sean Marion, Scottie Pippen comp.
Man, I wish for the Wolves Wesley Johnson was Scottie Pippen. Oh, do I, man?
God, that hurts.
Greg Monroe is compared to Kevin Love?
Oh, that hurts. Sean Marion, Matter of fact, let me make this bigger. That's better. Okay. A Sean Marion, Scottie Pippen comp for Wesley Johnson.
DeMarcus Cousins to Chris.
C-Web for DeMarcus Cousins.
I don't see that. Do you, Kenny?
Had him listed as a 4 instead of a 5. All right. Kevin Love, Jordan Hill for Greg Monroe. Ed Davis gets LaMarcus Aldridge and Brandon Wright. That's like two different sides of the spectrum.
Decent and bad. Freak Amuna to Josh Smith. That's fine.
LaMarcus Aldridge wasn't great. This is what, year 3 of LaMarcus Aldridge? So I guess that kind of makes sense. Ekpe Udoh gets a less talented Chris Bosh.
Okay, Paul George to Trevor Ariza. This is crazy. The other one compared him to Scottie Pippen. Here we're doing Trevor Ariza. That's crazy.
Undersell of the century is that Paul George is Trevor Ariza.
Hassan Whiteside to Alonzo Mourning and Marcus Camby. Marcus Camby, Hassan Whiteside. I think that I never watched prime Marcus Camby, but I think that should be decent, right?
Oh, this is hilarious. I'm looking for them steals of the draft. It's just the Grievous Vat.
Craig Brackets. I remember him at Iowa State. That's funny.
Okay, not necessarily a steal, but he did have an NBA career. Some of these dudes couldn't say the same thing. Go 2011 then. Kyrie Irving is a 6'2" Chris Paul.
I mean, maybe at the time. Kyrie compared to Chris Paul's prime. I mean, maybe they both have a good mid-range game. Chris Paul is just a way better passer. Kyrie's a way better scorer. So, I don't know. But this says Irving is a pass-first point guard. I mean, maybe he was in college. He's not anymore, though.
Whoa, that's kind of insane. 6'2" Chris Paul. The Cavs have a hard time passing on Irving. He is an elite point guard prospect. Part Deron Williams, yes, because of the crossover.
Yeah, D Will I see more than Chris Paul, for sure.
Part Chris Paul and ready to bring Cleveland back from the abyss. Irving is a pass-first point guard with all the tools to lead an NBA club for the next decade. Obviously, Kyrie Irving is beyond pass first.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe in college he was. I don't know.
Like, obviously, he could still pass, but he's not pass first. He's like, I'm going to get myself a bucket. So he's evolved. We got Amari Stoudemire,
Derek Williams.
Griffin
I mean, I see it.
For Derek Williams. Derek Williams is one of those prospects for me. Again,
Look at the T-Wolves draft picks. I mean, this is horrible, bro. Enes Kanter went number 3 overall. Oh my goodness, what in the 2011 mock draft?
A ton of college basketball, but in 2011, I feel like I was more tapped in than in 2024.
Joe Val to Joakim Noah is ridiculous. If you think about Jonas Valanciunas' game compared to Joakim Noah's game, where they're at right now, that is blasphemy.
I thought Derek Williams was actually going to be really, really nice.
I did too.
So the fact that he didn't pan out kind of sucked because he can shoot the ball.
And then it started to remind me of a young Blake Griffin. I mean, I could have seen that too.
At least in that 1 year of college, he shot the ball so well. And I was like, oh, he's going to be able to shoot. He's athletic as heck. He can defend. I thought he was one of those dudes. I didn't think he should go number 1 over Kyrie Irving, but him going to number 2 made sense to me in that time. But obviously that didn't pan out. And it's Kanter, Kevin Love. I think a lot of that is because Kevin Love back to the basket at this time is crazy, and he also was a good rebounder. Val was compared to Joakim Noah.
That one makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, no sense at all.
Which is crazy because Joakim Noah never had like a post.
He never had an offensive game,
score,
really.
But I think Val's post game was just so much better. But again, we talk about a younger version of Val. Very promising young big man who only scratches the surface of his potential. Mixes up good ball fakes, back to the basket, very solid rebound and good shot blocker. Needs to add weight and strength. Best believe he did that.
Yeah, Jova, I mean, again, this is a young Jova compared to where we're at now. Maybe a completely different player. I need to give them respect. I'm just looking at Jova now. Like,
he did that part.
Not joking.
Brandon Knight was compared to Drew Holiday, a smaller KG.
I like the Biombo to Ben Wallace comparison. He obviously never lived up to that, but
Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson to KG is crazy.
A smaller Kevin Garnett. Are you serious?
Yikes.
That is crazy.
Says step out and knock down jumpers. When did that happen?
Jan Vesely keeps the streak alive. He does get a black player here, but he does also get a foreign-born
AK-47
white player. Kimbo's ended up being way
Speedy
better than
Claxton
Speedy Claxton was. Jimmer Fredette,
Kirk Heinrich. I don't see that. Do you see that? I watched Jimmer in college. I would never have compared him to Kirk Heinrich. Again, it's just because he's white. What are we doing?
It does get a white guy and Kirk Heinrich. Matiunas gets Dirk. He is much more of a Dirk or Bargnani than a Darko. Now, Matiunas had like a couple solid seasons in the NBA, so I don't want to act like he didn't pan out to be anything, but definitely, I mean, I don't even think he won Bargnani, he won Dirk, and was he Darko? Was he even Darko?
I don't think Darko is the right comparison.
Marcus Morris ends up getting Carlos Boozer. Oh, the court.
Clay gets Courtney Lee.
The undersale of the.
But again, aren't they both like the same skin tone? Like, is that just a thing for every comparison here? Kawhi gets Jeff Green. I mean, I guess.
Century. Jeff Green, undersell of the century for Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson. Jimmy Butler gets Landry.
I see the comparison there. Jimmy Butler was just way better, but I see the comparison of why they thought that. I can see that for sure. I can see
Fields. That's crazy.
I can see it though.
That is so crazy.
At the time.
And obviously, Jimmy Butler has an argument to be in the Hall. He has an argument to be in the Hall now. Poor man's Russell Westbrook. And
Corey
again, this is 2011,
Joseph.
so this is before Russell Westbrook was the MVP of the league.
Corey Joseph?
If that man was a poor man's Russell Westbrook, I promise you he wouldn't be projected 33rd. I
Who'd Bertans get? Bertans got a poor man's Peja, I think I saw. Probably valid. Bertans, poor man's Peja. I see that.
The worst draft comp of all time.
Bertans being like, what, the 40th pick of the draft, had a decent career.
Was Deshaun Stevenson projected to be Michael Jordan in some comps?
What?
More versatile LaMarcus.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist got Scottie Pippen. Wow.
Aldridge. Wow. But you know what?
That's not a bad comparison. I mean, I think defensively he's way better than LaMarcus was, but I mean, that's not a bad comparison.
That's not genuine because when Anthony Davis was coming out of the draft, everybody knew that he was a generational talent. So more versatile LaMarcus. Again, LaMarcus was really, really good. Don't get me wrong, but I think his comps in a lot of other places were a lot higher than that.
Maybe. I'm just saying, what is his offensive game? I mean, I could see it. A good mid-range, like a good face-up score. Like, I don't think it's that bad. Maybe I'm wrong.
Don't mean to go back here, but here he was compared to Kevin Garnett, which I think.
Okay, but like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, you could compare a number one pick to somebody high. You could compare him to not somebody get that high. It's just, it's hard because every number one pick's gonna have potential. It's just how high, how good do you think they're gonna end up being?
I think that was more of what the mindset was in 2012. A nice Latrell Sprewell. That's crazy.
Crazy.
I like when publications or writers do stuff like that. Well, it's not just like, hey, here's a singular player, but it is a athletic version of this.
Or like a not so good. Like what did they say with Bertans? A light Peja Stojakovic, something like that.
It is a low tempered version of that. I like that. So. When you say he is a nice Latrell Sprewell, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist can.
Drummond to poor man's Dwight. I like that. That's valid. Andre Drummond to poor man's Dwight defensively was never that good, but I feel it from the rebounding standpoint.
Compared to the one, this is what I'm figuring out. When it comes to these older draft, I don't know if they do this anymore now, but older draft comps, if you were a versatile defensive wing,
yeah, it's true.
Only needed a jump shot, you was probably comped to Scottie Pippen, which is crazy. Thomas Robinson gets Amari Chris Humphries. That's a one side of the spectrum versus.
I mean, Chris Humphries is more valid with Thomas Robinson.
Another Harrison Barnes is Grant Hill. Dame is just Marcus Thornton. Plays a complete game, has good quickness, athleticism, and can score in bunches. That's for sure.
I mean, my thing is, again, Dame's the 6th pick. Thomas Robinson was the 4th pick. So, like, Again, looking back at it, you're like, wow. But again, you got to look where they were
Poor
picked.
man's DeWitt for drum. Okay. All right. Kendall Marshall was almost Jason Kidd. A pass first.
I'm not going to lie. I like Kendall John. I got John Henson mixed up. I like Kendall Marshall in college at North Carolina. I did, but almost Jason Kidd looking back on it is crazy.
Guard who has quickly earned the trust of his teammates.
That's crazy.
Very high IQ and good skill set. Not an elite athlete. Needs to work on his outside shot. All of that does sound like almost Jason Kidd.
He just never lived up to it.
I mean, honestly, he wasn't. He was a lot closer to. Let me think of a player. I don't even know. I don't want to be disrespectful, but he was nowhere near Jason Kidd. Let's just say that. Almost is still
maybe like a Monte Morris before Monte Morris.
Bro, if I was a player like Jeremy Lamb who was in the league for a decent amount of time.
Y'all remember Royce White, man? He could have been so good, man.
But
He
also
could have
never
been so
panned out
good.
too crazy. If I had that, I would frame this. That at one point they thought I could be T-Mac or Joe Johnson.
Jeremy Lamb had
Actually,
a
I
decent
wasn't.
career,
but at
though.
one point they thought I could.
He had a
that's
decent
the
career.
shining moment. Jared Sullinger got a Charles Barkley comp. Oh yeah, now we just talk. Draymond Green with a Ron Artest comp is so hilarious.
But it's valid. Like, looking back, offensively, not really, but defensively, I think it's valid.
Considering both of their history with their anger on court and stuff.
Literally.
It's actually kind of perfect. And this ain't even updated since 2012. So they didn't go back and make a little jokey joke. No, they just kind of saw that this man's temper is crazy. Chris
Middleton, Darrell Wright, and Shane Battier, I guess.
The Shane Battier / Darrell Wright. Okay, shooters. Okay, yeah. Now this is the way we're gonna end it because the 2013 draft class. And
Alex Len, a better Luke Longley. See, they knew. Like, they knew with Alex
part 2
Len.
for
They knew.
2014 to now. But the 2013 draft class at the time was considered one of the worst of all time. So the number 1 overall pick projected, Alex Len.
This is projected. I was like, Alex Len went. Well, I was confused there for a second. That makes more sense.
Luke Longley. Nasty work. But even a better Luke Longley.
Like, the crazy part, if you look at the top 6, none of these guys panned out. None of them. Victor Oladipo is the only one still maybe in the league, but his times might be coming to an end, and these guys should be in their prime. The craziest part about it is, as much as people get mad about the Anthony Bennett pick, who are they supposed to pick? Who are you gonna pick? I'd have picked Oladipo, but
he sounds a lot worse than Marcus Camby or Danny Granger or poor man's Dwayne Wade or even
Luke Longley is crazy.
J.R. Smith. Are you serious? A better Luke Longley? Ew.
That is crazy.
The poor man's Dwayne Wade one ended up being pretty accurate at one point. That was, man, VO's career. I wish.
CJ McCollum, a poor man's Steph. I see that too.
Go back and kind of.
I see it.
Relive it because
Trey Burke in college, especially NCAA tournament time, was disgusting.
That little prime that he had was so fun,
good,
so electric, and it did.
KCP was projected 9th overall. What the heck?
For sure. So that's not too bad. CJ McCollum is a poor man Steph Curry. Interesting. Anthony Bennett was a more
KCP being compared to Eric Gordon is disgusting.
Explosive Paul Millsap, extremely powerful and explosive forward who can step outside and knock down jumpers or take defenders off the dribble. Yeah, okay. Where's Giannis? He wasn't even projected to go. Oh.
Yo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. What site are we on, Kenny? What side are we on? A taller Scottie Pippen.
Ooh, Tyson Chandler count for Rudy Gobert makes sense.
Man. Giannis at 18, a taller Scottie Pippen is crazy.
No Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where's Giannis Antetokounmpo? He wasn't even projected in the first round.
He's there.
Is that true? I think that kind of makes sense.
He was there. He's in the first round.
Oh no! Wait, hold on.
He's there.
Wait, hold on.
Robert Covington, shout out Rocco. Projected 79th, had a good NBA career.
Maybe I overlooked it, but
Will Clyburn was ahead of Robert Covington. What in the world? Shout out MCC, Marshtown Community College. Will Clyburn.
Let me do some finder. Yeah, no Giannis in the second round. I repeat, no Giannis in the second round. First round. Oh, there he is. He was projected 18th. Taller Scottie Pippen. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? If you could not shoot and you were a rangy forward,
but like Giannis compared to Scottie Pippen doesn't even make sense. And I know he was wrong when he came into the league, but still, this don't make sense.
Antetokounmpo obviously ended up being a lot better than even this. Even that. Being comp to Scottie Pippen and exceeding expectations is some pretty cool stuff. Let's just be real.
That is true.
All right,
that's
Luke
facts.
Longley. A better Luke Longley. Again, sounds really bad, but that was a projected first overall pick.
I mean, were they wrong about Alex Len? I'll let y'all be the judge. Shout out Kenny, man. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're doing it. As always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.